In my tanks, I like to run live plants. I think that it's really good for the health and the filtration of the ecosystem within the tank. And plants do respirate, which means that they're going to put oxygen into your tank during the day. They're also going to take out carbon dioxide. And I think that they're really a good design mechanism within your tank too. Can kind of help you to create sort of a feel. So what I have going on in this tank are Anubias, which is my favorite plant. I use them in all my tanks, but I use different types of Anubias to sort of sculpt what I want the tank to sort of feel like when you look at it. And this tank I'm running an Anubias sparteri. It's a little bit of a bigger Anubias, larger than some of the others. I use it because it's sort of sparse, it's got broad leaves. This is actually a broadleaf variety. It kind of stretches out a little bit. It does have some leveling to it, which is kind of nice. They can kind of swim in it, but they don't feel like, you know, like they're hiding necessarily. They're just sort of hanging out. I do have an empty rock in the back, and I'm kind of thinking about putting a Java fern on that. I've never had one before, and I'd kind of like to try it, so I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out. So, nice bubble nest there, buddy. Over here I have a more dense woodsy sort of feel, and this is where he kind of goes when he wants to hide, and he hangs out in there quite a bit sometimes. I have an Anubias hostifolia in the back. It's a little different because it has these arrow-shaped leaves that point upwards, and they're a little bit lighter in color than some of the other Anubias. This one here is my favorite. This is an Anubias caudifolia. I like it because it's a little bit more dense. It's sort of a medium height plant, and it has these really neat little rib textures to it. And right next to it is an Anubias nana. So that's kind of what's going on here. And I'm going to show you the guppy tank, I think, because the guppy tank, I kind of use the Anubias in a little bit of a different way. I think it's sort of interesting. See what's going on in the guppy tank here. Now, in the guppy tank, I think you can really see that I'm starting to work on some well-defined levels. Guppies tend to swim towards the top a lot, so I've left them some open space there. But over here, I have mounted on a taller rock this plant here. I'm hoping that the rock sort of accentuates the height a little bit. This is an Anubias congensis, and it's got really narrow leaves. I'm hoping that it kind of grows and sort of spreads across the top a little bit so it doesn't overtake that open space, but gives them a little bit to swim in up there. This here is an Anubias nana. It's a really dense one that I've kind of really worked to sort of get that way, so it gives them a really good hiding area down there. And then this is my favorite feature of this tank. This is an Anubias minima, and I've actually attached it right to the structure, and it's growing sort of through it and around it, and I think it's a nice little focal point here in that tank. I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to show you the other beta tank because I've really used the Anubias there a little bit differently than I have in these other two. This one I wanted to show you because I'm still using the Anubias, but I have what I think is a real different feel in here. There is not a lot of, so to speak, clustered hiding space in here. This tank is pretty much open, so I've taken into consideration the personality of this particular fish, and this little guy doesn't hide very much. He really likes to see what's going on. He's sort of nosy. He likes to be out and about and in all the business going on. So I've used the plants that I've chosen to sort of cater to that and give into it. I've used another Bartoli back here. This is actually a round leaf, and it's not quite as tall as the other one we've seen, but it'll grow. This is the only really clustered plant he has, and this is a Fraseri. Finally got that one right. And it's very tightly clustered. He doesn't really swim within it, but he can kind of go around it. Over here I have another congensis. This is a pretty tall one you see in the back there. And then in the front, I really don't know what this one is. When I bought it, it just said Anubias assorted. So take your guess on that one. But I've sort of catered to him, as I have said. I've given him a structure which has some hiding in it, so he can kind of get way down in there and feel he's hiding that way. But he pretty much just prefers to hang around taller stalks. And I noticed that right away, and then I adjusted his aquarium to sort of counter that. So that's another way that you can really use plants to create a completely different feel, even though the plants are very similar to what we've seen, that I believe that the feel of this tank is different. So if you observe your fish, you can kind of see what they like and sort of work what you have around their personalities. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and wish me luck on trying some Java Fern.